Goes hard.
Truth be told, the truth be told, I'm treading on my tippy toes, my tippy toes. I'm painfully so worried about Ray.
Hello, everyone. My name is Aiden, with my co-host Colby. Today, we have none other than Ray himself. I'm sure you heard it in the song. Take it away, co-host.
So, Mr. Phillips, as we know, you have, is it 2 children?
2.
Which is your favorite?
Two spawn. 2 spawns.
Which one of your spawn is your favorite?
Well, my first favorite would be my daughter, and then my
Sorry,
son was born,
son.
and then my son is also my favorite too.
But you heard it. His first favorite was his dear sweet daughter.
His dear sweet daughter.
And my son didn't exist.
and
Yes, that's true.
his son doesn't exist in his eyes.
Now, Colby, curious, but so when do you get on and off of work?
Good question.
Just wondering.
When do you get on and off of work?
Yes.
So I'm usually here about 7:30.
Oh.
You're actually on time.
I
Like
beat you
Mark
here
Simpson.
today. I beat you here today.
You did?
I was here at 6:45
Oh.
for student council.
I was here
Stuco.
at 8:50 today.
So, Mr. Phillips, I heard you're on your 16th marriage this year. Is that true?
Well, I was going to go the more of the route of we're going to kidnap your children, but okay.
We'll get to that later. But 16th marriage, you want to talk about that for a little bit?
We talk about marriage. Maybe I talked about marriage 16 times.
No, your 16 different marriages, to be clear. Sorry. I'm
Quite
sorry.
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got plenty of stories.
It's a lot of marriages. If you check my Instagram, you'll see that I just made a post about your 16th wedding. So,
Can't wait to check that.
yeah, so you should check that out.
No, it's not true.
No.
One marriage.
Mr.
woman.
Phillips.
Oh, Mr. Phillips,
You
sly
dog.
dog. He's just married to 16 different women.
Oh, no divorces, 16 marriages. That's how you
That's
know
how it
he's
is.
a success.
Because, like, the more you do divorce, the more the chances are of you divorcing again.
Yeah, Mr.
So the more he
Phillips-
marries, the more chances he has to marry again with the same logic.
Mr. Phillips is actually a Scientologist Mormon, which means that he can have as many wives as he wants,
That's
but
so
he's a
true.
Scientologist.
That's so true.
He believes in Xenu.
I would have to be a
Xenu.
Scientologist to fund that many ex-wives, I suppose.
They're not ex-wives. They're just wives.
Oh.
So, since you have 16 wives, can you tell us your least liked wife? Let's hear it. What's your least liked wife?
favorite wife, go.
Give us their name.
It's a total fallacy.
Give us their name.
Complex question?
Complex. It is a complex question, and we need a complex answer.
Just tell it to us.
There's no way I'm answering that.
All right, you have 9 seconds to answer this before we start making Gollum
And
voices.
please don't do appeal to pity. Go ahead.
Restate the question.
Who is your least liked wife? 9.
My favorite
7.
wife and least favorite
6.
wife. The only one I
5.
have.
4.
Oh, that's rough. That's hard to hear. I'm sure she's gonna be broken up.
I really wanted to do
Sorry, honey.
Gollum voices.
I'm gonna be listening to this with you. So yeah.
We're very sorry, Mr. Phillips' wife. We did not prompt him to say that.
Shout out to
answer.
Mr. Phillips' wife. This was actually a test to see if he did have 16 wives.
It turns out he only has one, but you are also his least favorite wife.
Sadly.
We're sorry. You are our favorite substitute teacher, other than Mr. Truard. Let's go, Mr. Truard.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Colby. Mr. Truard, love him to death.
Love that guy.
Shout out to Mr. Truard.
Shout out. So, Mr. Phillips, as you know, you're growing a bit of a beard.
Where the magic happens.
So tell us what made you grow a beard?
I noticed you starkly resemble Santa Claus.
Oh.
So you're trying to grow it out for the winter season.
The Christmas times.
No, it's just because I'm lazy.
Lazy. I'm having the same problem. I have a voluptuous mustache right now.
You opened the door for me this morning, and I saw your vile peach fuzz right in my face.
He means voluptuous stash.
Now, me, on the other hand, I think I've got a good old vagabond look going with me.
Oh. I think it's time for a little bit of a story. As you may or may not know,
Wait,
Aiden
when does this
Cusack-
story take place?
this story takes place back in freshman year when Aiden had a greasy
I
little
was
mustache.
here during freshman year.
You were here? That's very interesting. Well, Aiden had a very long white mustache hair that
Are you
he
sure
used
that
to
was my
floss.
mustache hair?
Will you let me finish?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it, Colby.
Okay, can I finish, please?
Yes, go on.
So Aiden would floss with his big mustache.
Oh, I floss every day.
Heck is happening?
Are you gonna let me finish the story?
Colby, please don't beat me like you did.
For all our audio listeners, Mr. Phillips just beat up Aiden.
This is the second time in a row a violent altercation has occurred on Duck, Hunks, and Muffin Chunks.
So, Mr. Phillips, I have an interesting question for you, and I expect an interesting answer. How many times have you kissed a girl? Answer honestly.
How many times?
Yes, we went on an exact number.
Oh,
No
man.
rounding.
That includes your daughter.
Have you given her a little cheek kiss?
So your
a forehead
question, how many
kiss?
times have I kissed a girl?
A girl.
Many
Don't
times.
count your son.
So my wife and I have been married for 13 years, and I kiss her at least once a day. So
Once a day. So can you do the math real fast?
no. We need Simpson in
You know,
here.
I can do the
Okay, we gotta have
math.
Simpson.
And
13.
that is equivalent to about 57 kisses in all.
57 kisses. Let's give it up. Let's give it up.
57, that's a big
57.
number. Impressive.
Give or take a few.
Mr. Phillips, have you seen my Dungeons and Dragons shirt? I'll let you read it aloud to the audience.
You reach out to push the orc off the ledge, but instead lightly caress his back. He is uncomfortable.
Oh, that's a good Dungeons and Dragons.
But that's
shirt.
also a really good soundbite of Mr. Phillips.
I will be using that in all my voicemails. So,
Caresses his back.
as you know, someone lit a fire today. Did you know that was actually Aiden, so we wouldn't have to listen to any more expo
Guilty.
presentations?
I do hate senior expos.
Somebody definitely snuck into Mrs. Thomas's room, tried to cook themselves a bag of popcorn.
Oh.
I think the police are in there fingerprinting right now.
All right. Enough of these shenanigans. This is a call out to all the listeners. Stop burning crap at this school. First it was the schnitzel. Then it was the popcorn. Then it was the popcorn again. Keep an eye on your food, please.
To be fair, all 3 times it was Mr. Grober. So let's be honest.
Classic Grove Street.
Grove Street. Okay, so Mr. Phil Ups, I hear your favorite sports team is the Bears. Is that correct?
The Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears.
I support that, and I think you should tell us your favorite 20 players on the Bears team. And if you do, you'll win $1 million cash.
Don't mess up.
Or best
On the
offer.
Bears? Okay, we're talking NFL football, which is
The Bears.
not my favorite team or
What?
sport. We got Mike, Fred, John, Billy, Sam.
We were talking about hockey.
All right.
Okay, I gotta say, low-key, hockey kind of goes hard, though.
Hockey's pretty awesome.
If
The
you were a
Coyotes.
Canadian, maybe.
The Coyotes. So, tell me this. What is your least favorite race? Answer honestly.
Probably the 1600. It's just too long.
He outsmarted us. He's been
There's
listening.
only been one person that hasn't outsmarted us, man.
And he said white.
And then I said Caucasian afterwards.
So, do you have any questions for Mr. Phillips? I feel like I've been monopolizing this podcast
You
episode.
really have.
In fact, Colby, you first brought you to your shirt and everything else and all
Well,
that.
the shirt was interesting. Let's not undersell the shirt.
Aiden, let me ask a question. Why don't you see if you can go in the Wayback Machine and tell us about the first time we met?
So the year was 1948. It was my first drive-through McDonald's order. Mr. Phillips opened the window and handed me 37 French fries. I counted. It was 3 less than it should be, and I had to return it to him. But like all McDonald's returnees, I threw it at his face. And that is where our relationship began. Aww.
Would you like to tell the story of how
exactly
we
how I
first met Aiden?
The story of how I met Colby. So it was the winter party of freshman year. I was at a friend's Christmas party, and we were just having a fun time. Then Colby pulls out his phone. He plays this silly willy video called Ninja Slapping Jess Cheeks.
That's a lie!
I'm like, Colby, what's your problem, man? And then he just keeps playing it over and over again. And I'm just like, Colby, stop. Then the party's closing out. We're all getting ready to leave. Colby gives me a hug. I'm like, weird, get away from me. But then, he slaps my my butt cheeks.
I feel like I should defend myself and say my side of the
you
story.
can't. You already did it.
I was very nice. You got to say your side of the story. My side of the story.
All right,
So
let's
there
hear
it was at the Christmas party. And Aiden kept going, have you heard of Ninja Slapping Chest Cheeks? I love the video. Ninja Slapping Chest Cheeks. And then he went, bring it in for a hug. And he raised his arms up slowly, his hands vibrating from pure energy. And then he brought them both down with a vivacious slap on both cheeks at once, followed by 3 gripping squeezes. And it was then that Carlos chased him down and beat him. The good old days.
Well,
Do you remember that when
Colby, it
Carlos
really
beat
sounds
you?
like you just copied my rendition of the story.
Because
I said
I was
it first, after all.
correcting your rendition of the story.
Incorrect, because I told the story and you just copied it. What's your take on this, Phillips?
Yeah,
Who is guilty
who's
here?
being honest?
Who's guilty here?
I think Kobe looks more innocent.
That's true.
What do you mean?
because
I literally cried. I cried. I literally cried.
He is uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable.
No, that's the orc that you caress. That's uncomfortable. I am the orc. I am the orc.
So let's recount our favorite freshman year memories.
Yeah, we've got a month left of high school senior year, and I guess we're going on a bit of a nostalgia trip. Mr. Phillips, what's your favorite memory with us?
Freshman year memory with us.
Correct, freshman year memory.
What's your favorite freshman year memory of Colby and or Aiden?
New student orientation.
What do you remember about us from new student orientation?
Oh, I remember you guys playing mixer games.
Wasn't
in
your
the
senior
gym.
buddy Dogster Drew?
We both shared the same senior buddy, Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew.
Okay, so I found this in the bathroom the other day. What's going on there?
How did you feel about that?
I was measuring stuff that's for
You and
me.
I have a rich history.
For you?
History.
Yeah.
What was your favorite
I needed to
memory of
measure
first
stuff.
student orientation?
Yeah.
I don't remember the two of you.
What exactly you're measuring that's that short?
You watch your fucking
We're
mouth.
at the same table.
Found this
It was
in
the
the...
Christmas party. It was the
I
Christmas
myself was
party.
vibing with Connor and Omari.
I definitely remember Aiden looking for some companionship, walking around.
He was so lonely and sad. The good old
Colby,
days.
on the other hand, was just weird.
I like to think of myself as a phoenix. Except instead of emerging from the ashes, I've always been out of the ashes.
You know, but I must say, Colby has not changed a bit since that day I first met him. The first day he harassed me, really.
All right, time for my favorite freshman year memory. So it starts at the Christmas party. So there I was, just minding my own business, when Aiden came up and started talking about ninja slapping chest cheeks. He walked up behind me, gave me a hug, and groped my buttocks. And that's the story.
You know, that really brings me back to my favorite freshman year memory.
Oh, when was it?
So it was freshman year. I was at this Christmas party.
I went to a Christmas party freshman year.
I'm so proud to be a part of this conversation right now.
And Colby comes up to me playing this
I'm
Mario
Colby.
video. And he gropes me. And he gropes me.
That's a lie.
And then Carlos shows up and defends my honor.
Shout out to Carlos.
Shout out Carlos. He's always been a real one. Haven't seen him in 2 years, but I hope he's doing great.
Yes, I'm Godspeed, Carlos.
What do you think of Carlos?
I don't know.
Be
Who's
honest.
Carlos?
Carlos Emmanuel.
I don't
He
know.
was a
Carl.
senior our freshman year. He wanted to be a janitor, I think. He worked
He
at
spoke
Box
Spanish.
Lunch.
Carlos Viegas.
He worked
No?
at Box Lunch.
He worked at Box
I
Lunch.
saw him at Box Lunch once.
You don't remember his last name.
He
It's
bought
Carlos
me,
Emmanuel.
he brought me a Rick and Morty cup.
It's Carlos
Such-
Emmanuel.
Bring me the yearbook.
Oh yeah, get the yearbook for him.
So
flip,
Mr.
flip. It's Carlos Emmanuel.
So Mr. Phillips hates Carlos Emmanuel. I'm sorry to hear that, Carlos. I'm sure you're devastated.
As you are an adamant listener, and we're excited for the Mr. Phillips episode.
Well, we're nearing the 15-minute mark, guys.
This is the longest podcast.
Any last questions here?
I think I got one for Mr. Phillips.
Okay.
Let's hear it, Phillips.
So, as we all know, in your class the other day, Aiden walked up to you poked your head and said, "How you doing?" How did you feel about that defilement?
I was uncomfortable.
Oh, you caressed his head and he was uncomfortable.
Now, I would like to make a correction to that story. But I'm going to give more of a background as to why Colby was actually the poker of Mr. Phillips' head. So, it was freshman year.
I gotta come clean. I poked his head.
It 100% was you.
I even have video proof. I can send it to you sometime.
Yeah, send it to all our audio listeners,
But
please.
what was really dumbfounding was how Mr. Phillips reacted. Like, he just started mercilessly beating Colby senseless.
That's how I broke my nose, much like Andrew, our last guest.
You have that on video?
Yeah, of Mr. Phillips beating me.
Mr. Phillips,
savagely.
slapped Colby's hand away from his head and said, "I'm doing just fine," and just started beating him.
Mr. Lukey or Mr. Self, if you're listening to this, reach out and get that video. I
video.
feel like it would be influential towards Mr.
it was a very
Phillips'
wholesome video.
future career.
Well, any parting words? Parting is such sweet sorrow.
This has been an exciting interview. I'm surprised to see there really are.
All right, thank you, goodbye.
Just real quick, Mr. Phillips, how do you feel about not watching Connor and Tyrell play basketball today?
They suck at basketball anyways.
I guess they'll have to get over it.
Oh!